Hello guys, welcome back to Super Guy Boy Show, and today is our new track review of the new track by T-Pain and Denzel Curry, Trouble. So this new Denzel track, and as I'm recording this, Melt Your Eyes, See Your Future is going to be coming out by tomorrow. So this review comes out late, like maybe a day after the album is out. I'm sorry, but whatever. So basically, if you do not know, Denzel Curry's been releasing two singles so far before this, Walking, and the other one was Slow Tie that I don't know how to pronounce. Like, I just don't know how to pronounce it. And honestly, out of those two tracks, I could definitely very well say that Walking is definitely one of my favorite tracks of the year. I love the beat behind it. It has this very boom bap, Supreme Clientele type of feeling with it, with how rich the sample is used, and with the little synths laced into it with the boom bap drums in the first half before the snares comes in, and it has this nice bassline guitar kind of like mixed into it very nicely. It gives this track a very nice kind of richness to it. But when you get to Denzel's lyrics on Walking, it's kind of like a weird tone setter for the album that's going to be coming out. And I'm guessing that the album's themes is going to be how, kind of destructive the world can be. And it's less of getting into the specifics, but it's more of what Denzel is seeing, and it's kind of like a generalization, in which I'm gonna see this as a great intro. And as I've seen the track listing he's released on his Instagram, it seems like that this one's gonna be like a tone setter for this one, even if it's the second track. And the other one, I was still a big fan of it. I wasn't that big on Slow Tie's part of it, if on the chorus, but I did like the beat behind it. I just wasn't feeling the overall vibe, and I did feel like it did drag on too much. But even still, this new track over here, I listened to it, and I gotta say, this track was pretty good. Compared to the last one, this one doesn't drag as much, especially with the beat on here being a lot more poppier and a lot more bouncier, which is produced by Kenny Beats. And I just gotta say, like, thank you, Kenny. This beat sounds amazing. The melody is catchy, and there's this hard-hitting 808 mixed into it very nicely, and it just like gives it this bouncy feel to it, especially on T-Pain's part of it. The topic of the track seems to be about someone's life who's going downhill, and they're looking like towards drugs and other substances as the way to get out of the reality, which if I'm gonna guess, it's gonna be, if the album is a concept, it's gonna be either in the middle of the album, where it's kind of like Denzel is going to be in a place in the album where he's going to start looking for other ways to get out of the reality he's actually in. And if that's the way it's supposed to go, I gotta say, it definitely does a somewhat half decent job at that, which kind of gets me into one of the negatives I have with this track, and that is that it's a very short track. And nothing against short tracks, but I think that this message could have been conveyed a lot more better if Denzel Curry gave another verse, because the verse he has over here leads me to believe that this is going to be either a continuation of this storyline or whatever. But it's such a short verse, and it's not bad. There's some good lines on here, like the TLC line, but it's such a short verse to really not leave as much as an impact compared to the verse on Walking over on that track. And I feel like that in my opinion, T-Pain shines a little bit more better. His vocals, of course, shine so greatly on here, especially with the backing tracks with "suck a dick" and all that shit. And I did like the clownfish line. As stupid as that line was, it's amazing on here. And I did feel like that kind of does take away the track still, of how Denzel could have been doing a lot more with his verse, because it's a very short verse. And honestly, this is one of the weakest hooks Denzel has done in a long time. The hook isn't really terrible, but I feel like it could be a lot more better. It has these kind of low pitch, decoder vocals on here that I just don't think is very appealing, and it just comes off very annoying and tacky more than anything, a little bit more better. And especially with a beat like this, I feel like T-Pain could have done a great hook on here, or Denzel could have been a lot more with the hook, but it just feels like the hook is just oversimplifying the topic for this track, and I feel like this could have been done a lot more better. Overall, I still enjoyed this track. I think T-Pain and Denzel did both a really good job on this track. The beat is of course great, and I did think that Denzel and T-Pain both did a great job on here. And I'm really very excited to see what Melt Your Eyes is gonna sound like, and how it's gonna be like. And hopefully y'all enjoyed this track review, and I'm feeling a 7 out of 10, closer to an 8 than a 6. And yeah, that's the end of track review. So yeah. See ya.